Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C, and we coming to you live around the world with Charlton and Big C Sports every Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I also want to say we're the $1 Million Show and bienvenidos to all of our Latin American listeners. We also have people giving me tweets from France, Dubai, even Africa. So we thank you for all over Europe and, of course, the United States. Big C, we just had a great happening last night. I know you guys down south in the SEC country probably didn't care about Kobe retiring. You probably didn't care about Golden State winning 73 games for the first time in the history of the NBA. But what are your thoughts on any of the action happening in the great state of California last night, Big C?
Well, like I said, I'm going to have to go with a little Tupac here, a little California love.
Yeah.
You know, you guys were getting it all last night when you think about it. You know, you had the great Kobe Bryant Swan song last night.
Yeah.
You know, opening up a can of whip, you know, whatever you want to call that stuff. And, you know, knocking in over 50 points last night, y'all.
Yeah.
You know, just a phenomenal night. I don't know if he had scored 50 points all season long going into that game.
And who cares? Who cares that it took 50 shots? But he had 60 points, actually, Big C, 60 points. But they all, I think Utah, they learned to play that matador defense that James Harden is known for, Big C.
Well, you know, if you watch hard enough, you know just to sit and watch the other players score. But, you know, it was a great night.
Yeah.
Great fanfare in Los Angeles. You know, all the stars came out, Charlton.
Everybody.
If you looked at the first couple of rows at the Staples Center, it was like a who's who of Hollywood and the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
To pay their respects and see Kobe for the last time on the court. And Kobe didn't disappoint his fans last night, Charlton. He gave them, you know, a performance for the ages. When you talk about players going out on top, he didn't go out with a championship, but he went out with one of the top performances all time of a player in his last game, Charlton, scoring the 60 points last night.
Yeah, and when you think about what he did, and I hear a lot of people talking about how they like the way that they honored him, but not necessarily the way that it was about a one single player as opposed to the team concept. But also, I just want to say this segment is sponsored by Bud Light. It's a great beer. You can also stay hydrated and lose weight, Big C, and I know that's why you like your Bud Light down in the South, Big C.
No. We don't drink the Bud Light. We drink the regular beer. You know, we're not worried about the dietary effects of a beer. Beer is supposed to leave you bloated and full, and that's what we're looking for.
Let's be real. You know, JFK's father, his grandfather, was a bootlegger down in the South running whiskey and wine for you good old boys down south. So I know you guys like to talk about beer, but we know you guys like your moonshine down in the South, Big C.
Hey, white lightning, Charlton, you know, that's a real man's drink. You know, that stuff will put a hand on your chest, and you should rub a little bit on there.
I'm thinking of getting some of that myself, but also a Big C. You know, I know that, number one, we pay a lot of homage to the entertainers. You made some commercials back in the day. You know, it seems to be everybody in the Hollywood era over the last 30 to 40 years. And also, as an athlete, you know, the theme of our show is we like to mix athletes and entertainers because it's all the same. And when I look at the great Staples Center last night, I see guys like Jay-Z. You know, you had some of the, of course, Jack is always there. But that whole environment, Shaquille O'Neal showed up to pay homage. Some of the great Laker players, Lamar Odom, you know, he's gotten into the clan with the Kardashians. He was there last night. A lot of great people. Gary Payton was also there, Big C. What does that mean when athletes from past generations show up? Magic Johnson was there. When they show up and say, hey, good job, even though I know behind the closed doors they hate the fact that they had one of the greatest, a dynasty for the Lakers, and it's not what it used to be, but they still showed a lot of respect to Kobe last night, Big C.
Well, Charlton, it's a generational thing, and when you look at the great players from the past who showed up last night at the Staples Center, these are the players who were playing when Kobe was at his eliteness in the NBA. You know, and they were going back and they were paying respects to that time. They appreciate his performances over the last 20 years, but the last three haven't been as strong. But the first 17 years of his career, Kobe was parallel to anybody who had ever played in the game. And players were coming back paying their respects to that level of Kobe's game. So, you know, all those players came back. Some had played against him, some had played with him. But all of them, Charlton, respected him over that time.
Well, speaking of respect to Kobe Bryant, and I know when you look at what happened in Los Angeles last night, up north, the great Golden State Warriors, they won 73 games, the first time in the history of the NBA. And Steph Curry can't say enough about him because he hit 10 three-pointers last night, 402 total for the season. He said that he broke his own record, Big C, but of course beating the Bulls record 95-96 team that won 72 games. Just your thoughts again on what it means, not just for Steph Curry, but for the Golden State Warriors. Unlike Kobe Bryant, just about Kobe, this is about Golden State, the whole team. Your thoughts on that performance last night, Big C?
Well, I think that performance goes even farther than when you look at the team, Charlton. These shows who have the highlight reels, they're going to have to rethink about how they show highlights now. You know, the dunk is not going to be the reason why you're making Sports Center.
Right.
It's the guy who can line up a half dozen or more three-point shots in a game.
Yeah.
You know, the game is going to go back to the fundamentals because of the Golden State Warriors, Charlton.
Yeah.
When you look at a jump shooting a team that knows how to pass, who knows how to set picks, that's what the Golden State Warriors are. You know, they run that version of the triangle offense that Steve Kerr ran while he was with the Chicago Bulls back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So he has come and he's revamped that and retooled it based on the players that he has now. But the Golden State Warriors, as far as their accomplishments, what they were able to do this season is second to none. And when you sit back and look at it, you just got to be respectful and appreciate the great season that they had in the NBA here this season.
Yeah, and when you think about that great season, I'm just impressed with California last night. Was like the mecca for sports. It almost reminds me of when we had the Thriller in Manila. You had Ollie Frazier, Madison Square Garden. You had Boston Celtics and the LA Lakers back in the day. Because last night, with all the work that Curry put in, there's so much talk about will the Warriors win a championship, how it's all for naught unless they win a championship. But just with that said in itself, Big C, I think we got the chance to see, not just here out in California, and on you good old boys without practicing running wind sprints for Alabama football last night.
we were getting dehydrated so we could consume a beer, Charlton.
In fact, some of the good old boys down south, they didn't even know they had a basketball team in Los Angeles, from what I hear, Big C. But again, when we think about Kobe, you know, the Los Angeles Rams have come back to the West Coast. And Coach Fisher was saying they're looking for a quarterback, and they were going to try out Kobe Bryant, but decided he wouldn't throw the ball. He wouldn't pass the ball to anyone.
He didn't know anything about passing, huh?
Yeah, so people don't know Kobe got out of retirement. He retired from the NBA so he could try out for the NFL, but they actually need a quarterback to pass the ball every now and then, Big C. But when you think about...
Well, Charlton, ironically, when you think about that, talking about the Rams needing a quarterback, they pulled a trade today with the Tennessee Titans for the number one pick overall in the draft.
Yeah.
Now, you know, everybody is saying that they'll draft Carson Wentz or Jeff Goff out of Cal, you know, one of your local kids out there.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know if that's a great move for the Rams. You know, the last time they drafted a quarterback overall number one, they traded him just a year ago to Philadelphia, Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
And he never had the success that everyone thought that he was going to have coming into the NFL as a number one overall draft pick. You know, he's had an injury-plagued career.
Yeah.
Prior to that, they had drafted Chuck Long.
Oh, yeah.
Back when they were in Anaheim, prior to going to St. Louis.
Yeah, out of
Iowa.
Yeah, out of Iowa.
And so he never achieved the level of success they thought about that he would do it. And maybe, you know, Sam Bradford was just the second Heisman Trophy winner that the Rams had drafted in their career. In 1963, they drafted Terry Baker, number one overall out of Oregon State, who had won the Heisman Trophy, left-handed quarterback who never claimed any success in Los Angeles. So I really don't think that the Rams are looking to draft the quarterback number one overall. That's a $25 million gamble on two unproven entities. I like the big offensive tackle out of Mississippi, Larry Tunsil.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have an offensive line. You got Todd Gurley last year. You have to have a running game in the NFL to win. They did okay with Chase Keenum playing quarterback. Now, Chase Keenum, when he came out of college, Charlton, left the University of Houston, the NCAA's all-time leading passer, over 19,000 passing yards in college.
Wow.
He showed flashes of success last year prior to getting a concussion with the Rams. I still feel that Fisher will go with him. You know, not wasted on a quarterback, number one, taking off at the lineman, somebody you can have for 10 to 12 years at that position.
Yeah.
To block for Todd Gurley, who's going to be an all-pro running back for years to come. That's the smartest move for the Rams, Charlton.
And speaking of all pro running back for years to come, this segment is also sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the Escalade. You can only get it there brand new. And when you go down and see it, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. And also, Big C, another thing that they were talking about last night, kind of behind the scenes, with Kobe Bryant coming out for his retirement, and he hit 60 points. Now, we know Las Vegas loves the fact that people thought he was going to get 15 points, but I think one of the things of him coming out for retirement, he realized that the NFL gave Brock Osweiler $37 million for winning 4 games. And he can't pass the ball either, so he thought he could be a good quarterback for the Rams. But I just want to, when you think about that, and you brought up something just the other day, and I hear a lot of guys talking about it now on television, but this celebration we had last night in Los Angeles, and everybody's happy that the Lakers are back on top, at least where their fan base can be happy for a change. But I remember the last time I saw such fan appreciation for the Lakers is when Pat Riley was the coach, and they were going for a repeat, and they had a parade downtown Los Angeles, and he guaranteed a repeat, and they actually did it. And I think the thing that the LA fans want is they want that again, Big C. That's what they really want. They love Kobe, but they want championships, Big C. What are your thoughts on how they can actually start getting there? We talked about Westbrook, and we talked about Kevin Love. They both went to the Final Four at UCLA, Big C.
Well, it's an area Charlton has been spoiled by championships over the years.
Yeah.
You think about the Lakers, they've had several great runs down there putting together championship streaks. You got the Los Angeles Dodgers that have won several World Series down in that area, Charlton. You got the Anaheim Mighty Ducks who've also won an NHL championship down there. So the LA Kings in hockey also have won an NHL championship. So it's an area that's used to winning. It's a city of stars. It's a city of glitz and glamour. And so you want that from your people on the screen, and you want that from your people on the courts and in the arenas. And so LA is drawn accustomed to it. And I think in calling the game last night, you had the great Hubie Brown.
Yeah, amazing.
Calling the game, who has been around basketball for a long time. He entered the NBA back in 1972. As an assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks under the late Larry Costello, the head coach.
Yeah.
And he had players like Kareem and Oscar Robertson on the team, and they went on to win an NBA championship, Charlton. And so Hubie has a long legacy of knowing the NBA. He also was a head coach for the New York Knicks. Yeah. After the great Red Auerbach, who had won a couple championships with the Knicks. But Hubie has been behind the screen for a long time on the mic, explaining the NBA in its complexity and its simplicity to fans. He has made the game very easy to understand and appreciate. He is one of the true icons of the mic in the NBA, Charlton, and he did a tremendous job in Kobe's final game at the in Los Angeles, making the fans appreciate not just the history of the man, but the man as a player.
Well, when I think about the way Hubie, and I love the way he talks, Big C, because you're one of the rare guys that I've met. You're a historian when it comes to sports. There are things that you do, and it's amazing you don't need a computer and 10 guys in production piping something to your ear, because when I listen to Hubie...
I don't know if I can afford a laptop out there to have in front of me. If I can get somebody to sponsor me with a laptop, then I'll put it in front of me.
Well, we know when it comes to guys like you guys hide your money, like the bootleggers down south, where you don't have to pay taxes on the money. You guys know how to hide money.
Don't worry about those little mounds in my yard. I keep telling everybody in this world.
It's amazing the guy can't afford a computer, but he has what is called a gated community. But that's how all you good old boys down south live anyway. And speaking of good old boys, because I know in more of a thing of how the appreciation comes, there's some talking heads that are saying how now you know how when you're on top, everybody loves you, Big C, and when you kind of fall, people want to say, well...
What, you telling me you don't love me now?
No, I've always...
I thought we had this love affair going on and appreciation of each other. Now that I'm on the bottom, you don't even care about me.
I'm going to tell you,
quick people change.
I'm on the West Coast where everything goes, Big C, but you're down south. You start talking about love affairs, I don't know if you're going to feel safe walking the streets.
Hey. We all saw Deliverance down here, okay?
Exactly. I understand, Big C.
Me and Beatty, Burt Reynolds, all those guys.
Yeah. I've always wondered. I always wonder about Jackie Gleason when we talk about the great movie with Jackie Gleason was chasing Burt Reynolds and the Firebird. Smokey and the Bandit, one of the best movies that I've ever seen. I was a little boy.
One of the greatest comedies you'll ever see.
Incredible! And I've always wondered if the Rangers are really that way down in the great states down south. But also, Big C, when I bring this up too, because now we're getting into the playoffs of the NBA, and there's so much happening in the world of sports. In the playoffs now, there's just my thought, Golden State, I think they start on Saturday, and they play the Houston Rockets. And we have Golden State lined up against Houston, the number 8 seed Houston. Number 2 seed, Big C, is San Antonio, and they're playing Dallas. Number 3, Oklahoma City. Number 6, Memphis. And number 4, the best team in LA, the Clippers versus Portland. What do you see as an opportunity for the Clippers? Because they've seen all the celebration, but it hasn't happened for them, Big C. How are they going to respond in the playoffs? Do they have the same passion? And will the fans in LA get behind the Clippers the way they got behind the 17-win Lakers, Big C?
Well, yeah, I feel they'll follow the Clippers just as closely in the playoffs as they did Kobe's swan song.
Yeah.
But Portland is not going to be the easy road for the Clippers in the first round of the playoffs, Charlton. That's going to be a task. Now, if they can get through them, they have a chance. But I don't see them making the Western Finals.
Really?
It's a great team, but being in the Western playoff bracket is the wrong bracket if you're not San Antonio or Golden State right now, Charlton. You got several teams with, 50-plus wins.
Yeah.
But, you're running through a buzzsaw trying to get to the Western Conference to make it to the NBA Finals. It's not an easy task for anybody.
Well, we have Portland coming in. They're actually 44-38. The Clippers are 53-29. And we know Chris Paul is the reason they're going to carry that team with Chris Paul. I think Blake Griffin coming back, maybe that can upset some of the chemistry down there.
Well, no, Charlton, they're going to have to limit Blake Griffin's numbers in the playoffs. If they want to advance beyond past Portland, they're not going to have – they can't have Griffin out on the court for 30-plus minutes a game. They have to keep him in the 20 range, Charlton, because he's going to disrupt the continuity that they developed while he was hurt.
Yeah.
So if they put him in the lineup, they'll be eliminated in the first round.
Well, see, and when you think about that, too, I know that it's an ego game. And contrast, because I think Kobe did something great, but also something bad for the league. Because right now we're celebrating mediocrity. I think that's a commercial where these young kids are playing a sport, and the father walks off with his son, and they gave his son a trophy for losing. And so they gave him a trophy for losing, and it's like, that's what LA did last night for Kobe. Now, I love Kobe, so it's kind of torn emotions. It's kind of like when you meet your old girlfriend and you like how you used to feel about her, but you're kind of glad you guys are not together anymore. And I'm sure women feel the same way too. But that's what I see with Kobe now. A lot of these things that people didn't like about him, they had to put on a smiling face. Just like I think Smokey Robinson, the smiling on my face. But now,
the thing about Kobe, it was almost people were happy to see him play his last game as they are happy to see him go.
Yeah.
Because they realize that he's been a burden on this organization, Charlton, for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And all of what they had built traditionally, he held that back. And when he signed that huge contract 2 years ago and Buzz said it was for services rendered, well, that meant that you no longer were willing to service the clients, which were the fans of the Lakers in the LA Basin.
Yeah.
Is that you didn't care about them having a quality product on the court for them for the next 2 years.
Yeah. You just said,
and no veteran players wanted to come play with Kobe because it was still Kobe's team, so they had to wait till he was gone. And the big talk right now is not Westbrook and Love, it's Durant coming to L.A. But I don't think Durant wants to come to L.A., Charles, because he understands the structure of the Western Conference. Now, he's been in the Western Conference his entire career.
Yeah.
And he's only advanced to the finals once. And his team has not gotten any better in the last 3 years. You look at the explosion of San Antonio and Golden State over the last 4 years in the West. Kevin Durant does not want to stay in that conference if he leaves Oklahoma City.
Well,
his best bet is to stay there.
Yeah.
But if he goes anywhere, he would go to the Knicks, Charlton.
Well, when you think about going to the Knicks, he definitely is wasting his time down in the great state of Oklahoma because these stars, they only have a short shelf life. Most people aren't going to do what Kobe did, Big C, and play 20 years, other than the guys like Duncan and Garnett and a few other guys. But if you look at what's happening on the East Coast right now, Cleveland, number 1 seed. They're playing number 8 seed Detroit. Toronto.
Well, a lot of that, Charlton, is based on
Yeah.
The commissioner out in Silver and the officials, okay?
Yeah, well, we understand that. Hey, we know after seeing Kobe's great performance last night, everything is on the up and up in the league, right? There's no such thing as...
Charlton, it was back when, when players would say, don't get too close to Michael, they're going to call a foul.
Yeah.
Even when he's at the scoring table, they'll call a foul on you while he's over there putting on the roster on his hand.
I think you're right, Big C. And also in the East, we have Toronto from Canada playing Indiana. Number 3 seed, Miami, they're taking on Charlotte. And Atlanta versus Boston. Last night, Boston had a great come-from-behind win. And I think Isaiah Thomas, man, he's a lightning rod of a player. 21 points last night to help Boston overcome a 26-point deficit. And what you talked about yesterday, Big C, you talked about how the NBA is better when you have the Lakers and you have the Celtics. Last night in Boston, they had all the great Boston Celtics players from the past. They were there from Bill Russell. They had all the great players that were there to watch the Celtics as they were trying to get the win last night. But it was just great seeing the atmosphere. They knew what was happening in Los Angeles. They kind of tried to match that on the East Coast last night too, Big C.
Well, I don't think if you're trying to match it, Charlton, there's always been a lot of talk about Michael Jordan being the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
And Kobe being second to Michael.
Yeah.
Okay, let's add up some championship rings here. How many did Michael have? Michael had 6.
Well, see,
okay.
You always like to talk about the facts.
Well, wait a minute. And Kobe has 5.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the greatest NBA player of championship caliber.
Yeah.
Bill Russell. He has 11 championship rings, Charlton.
Yeah,
11.
He has one on his toes. He has one on his toes.
So Michael has 6, and Kobe has 5.
Yeah.
So you combine those two players together, so they equal to Bill Russell as a tandem.
Yeah.
That's all we can say is that they're equal to Bill Russell's success as a tandem. So when you want to talk about paying homage to a great player without an ego to stroke, that's Bill Russell. Bill Russell played the game the way you're supposed to play it. It wasn't about ego. It was about sportsmanship and team play. And Bill Russell was rewarded with 11 championships. So when these guys talk about, well, Kobe didn't get to 6 like Michael, Michael didn't get to 11 like Bill Russell.
Yeah, I think when you talk about 11, and they kept bringing up the great Wilt Chamberlain, and when he played in the NBA, there was a joke that he thought the NBA stood for no bedroom alone. But I think they had to explain to Wilt that it meant National Basketball Association, because he had a lot of victories too when he played in LA Big C, you know what I mean?
He ran a lot of laps, y'all. He drank a lot. He drank a lot of Budweiser. Keep hydrated.
You thought the celebration was big for Kobe last night. You should have seen how Wilt celebrated in private. But also, when you look at basketball around the league last night, the Wizards 109, the Hawks 98, and we also had the Magic 117, Hornets 103. But also, Big C, when I look at what happened, the San Antonio Spurs, once they got humbled by the Warriors, they lost out of 4 games. They're only 1-3 versus Golden State. But last night, they hold a lot of players back. They did beat the Mavericks 96-91. But just your thoughts on Popovich. And I know some people don't say anything bad about Coach Pop, but as a part of the media, when we had so many people talking to Kobe last night, and they were saying how he was truculent in the past, he was so argumentative, very defensive after the thing happened in Colorado, where I think he was kind of set up, but that's just my own opinion.
Well, hell, if you had to pay somebody $8 million, you'd have been a little pissed off.
Well, let me ask you this about Pop, because you talked about the great Hubie Brown, which is like listening to Hubie Brown call a game. It's like listening to your grandfather explain the history of the game to you. But Pop, and I know he has the championships, but his attitude, I know it's his own stick, but aren't people tired of that? When you don't even show graciousness to the reporters, and everything's about yes, no, we're just going to win. Don't we need some more graciousness, or does that not matter, Big C?
Charlton, when was the last time you heard a reporter ask an intelligent question, Charlton?
Well, see, I understand.
You run up to a coach, okay? Coach, what do you say to your players at halftime to motivate them, okay? And this is Pop. This is my take on Pop. Some of the guys, we're getting the butts kicked tonight, all right?
Yeah.
I got a big incentive in my contract, and I know several of you do too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cut you, but I'll give you the day off tomorrow if you come out and play your butts off in the second half.
Yeah.
Okay? We should win this game 9 out of 10 times. Let's go knock it out. And let's not make me get upset, because I don't want to run your butts to death tomorrow.
Right.
Well, you can't say that to a reporter, all right?
Are you trying to say...
The reporter comes up and says, Coach, how do you motivate your team? Like, damn, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
What do you think? You've been I've been coaching. What do you think I do to
Right.
motivate the players?
Right.
These are grown men that get grown man paychecks.
Yes.
They
Well,
don't want to lose their paycheck, so I either cut them or they play better.
I think
They play better.
Yeah. Well, I think from my point of view, the great Hubie Brown, when I listened to him call the game last night with Mike Tirico, he's so gracious. He has a world of knowledge. He's also willing to explain himself, even if someone asks a dumb question. And that's just a class that I respect so much that I wish more people could learn from that. And speaking of learning from things, this segment is also sponsored by your Northern California BMW dealer, home of the ultimate driving machine. When you go down and see them, you got to test drive the all-new M7 600 horsepower 760 Li is also known as. And when you go down and test drive it, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. Now, also, Big C, in the last few minutes of the program, we know the NFL is talking about who's going to go where. You talked about what the Rams are trying to do down in Southern California. We get on these quarterbacks, and as they rate quarterbacks, you brought to my mind, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners also, how Kevin Hogan out of Stanford, 6'3", 218 pounds, runs a 4.7 40. You know, he passed for 2,867 yards last year, 27 touchdown passes, only 8 interceptions. The guy everyone's talking about, Big C's Carlton Wentz. This gentleman passed for 1,651 yards, 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, at a much lower level of competition, Big C. Again,
Did they have competition, Charles?
well, that's what I hear.
I mean, and I'm not knocking North Dakota as a program,
Yeah.
okay? Any college in America has a great program, regardless of the level that they are. But it's the level of competition you play.
Yeah.
And you talk about Carson Wentz playing.
Yeah.
He could not go out and line up against Stanford 7 days a week and beat him, Charlton. He's no bigger physically than Kevin Hogan.
Yeah.
But, as far as an intelligence and processing level, there's no quarterback coming out of college football that can do it better than Kevin Hogan. This guy is an academic All-American at Stanford. He has all the physical tools. He has consistently led his team to the Pac-12 championships. Oh, and that's the same conference that golf is in, isn't it?
I believe
they
it
played
is.
against each other, didn't they?
Yes, I believe
And
so.
how many times did golf beat Hogan in the 3 years that they played? He's 0-3.
Well, see, Big
Damn,
C, you like talking. You like talking about the facts. Some people just like emotional conversation. Can't you just go with the guy that they're telling you is going to be great? And also something that's funny but not too funny. Also, with the coach Shaw at Stanford, I was mentioning how I was pulling up on the Pac-12 website. He's only the 8th highest paid coach in the Pac-12. They had the best player in college football, I thought, in McCaffrey. His father played in the NFL, but McCaffrey had better numbers than the big running back out of Alabama. But you good old boys with Henry, I think you guys fudged the vote because Caffrey had over 5,000 yards of total offense, and he came up number 2.
All the reporters on the West Coast, Charlton, was out there in that sunshine and everything, laying on the beach, where the guys in the South were paying attention to who was playing. All right, let's be real about that.
And speaking,
it's not happy hour back here in the South. It's always the hour.
Well, when you talk about quarterbacks too, and I get a kick out of it because I looked at the numbers on Cardale Jones. I think he won a national championship for the great University of Ohio State.
Out of Ohio State.
Yes,
who has a cannon for an arm, who's about 6'5".
Yeah.
Runs a 4.6 40.
Yeah, but that's not important.
Physical specimen than any quarterback coming out in the draft. But they're saying he can't play football.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz won on Division III.
Yeah.
So that meant that he wasn't even playing against Ohio State's practice team.
Well, one of the scouts said that his drop back mechanics and technique need work. Well, someone forgot to tell Nick Saban when he ran all over Alabama for the national championship that his mechanics need work.
There was 3 teams that he obliterated, wasn't it? I believe it was Oregon, Ohio.
Oregon. They beat Alabama and Oregon. Yeah.
And I think he beat Michigan State in the Big Ten championship.
Big Ten championship. Yeah, Big Ten.
And so there was 3 teams.
Yeah.
That said, well, somebody needs to work on his mechanics because he's throwing for over 300 yards and rushing for over 70 yards a game against us. So this guy's not thinking of an athlete or talent.
No, it's funny because at 6'5", 253, hard to tackle. They said he has an enormous frame that appears functional. Yeah, he won a national championship. I think that's functional, Big C. But they said he has a good touch throwing the football underneath and his intermediate passing, and he shows flashes of being an elite quarterback. So if that was the case, and we base a quarterback's performance and his history based on winning, here's a guy with a national championship. Here's a guy that ran over Alabama when you need a quarterback to scramble. Here's a guy that played against an Alabama defense. I think they have about 8 players that are drafted into the NFL from that defense that he ran all over. So with those numbers, what in the heck are they thinking about? How is he not one of your top draft picks, Big C?
Well, Charlton, he's not blonde hair, he's not blue-eyed, okay? He's not prototypical color.
Hey, there's a lot of blonde. I do a lot of MMA.
We talked about it, Charlton. When the last 4 Super Bowls, hasn't it been an African-American quarterback?
Yeah.
So the chances of making it to the Super Bowl with an African-American quarterback, and you think about it, in the last 4 years, all 4 of those quarterbacks were drafted in the last 4 years, Charlton. So there's a trend somewhere.
Yeah, and so
there's a trend somewhere. In the last 4 years, if you drafted an African-American quarterback, you had a chance to be in the Super Bowl. And Teddy Bridgewater made the playoffs with the Minnesota Vikings last year, made the second round.
Well, see,
and he was only in his second year. So when you look at African-American quarterbacks who participated in the playoffs last year and in the last 4 years, you have a high rate, a percentage of chance of making it to the Super Bowl if you have an African-American quarterback.
Well, see,
now, if you look at the number of these, I mean, and I go back to Blaine Gabbert when they tried to say he was a prototypical quarterback. Blaine Gabbert, prior to going to San Francisco, was the number 5 overall draft pick with Jacksonville behind Cam Newton and 3 rounds ahead of Russell Wilson. Where has Cam Newton and Russell Wilson gone in the last 3 years, Charlton? Where have they gone? Where the hell is Blaine Gabbert gone?
Wow.
On a Greyhound bus to San Francisco. That's it.
No, he took Megabus. I think you could travel from San Francisco to Los Angeles for $1 on Megabus. I think that's where they put him on.
Well,
but
that's about what his rate now, Charles.
Well, see,
that's what his pay scale should be.
The last, one more thing I'll say about the great quarterback from Ohio State. He wasn't even the starter coming into the season. That's how good the talent is at Ohio State under Urban Meyer. So someone needs to tell Urban Meyer that he doesn't know how to pick quarterbacks, because it took his 3rd-team guy to help win a national championship.
Charlton,
I mean, come on.
How many quarterbacks have Urban Meyer won national championships? Let's go back to Florida when he had Chris Leak. He also had the great college quarterback Tim Tebow. He's also had Cordell Jones. So he has won national championships with different types of quarterbacks. But all these quarterbacks have been successful for him. Now, Jeff Goff, he hasn't even won a conference championship. So if you can't win a conference championship in college, how are you going to win a conference championship in the NFL?
Well,
and you got great players every Sunday.
Well, see, Big C, that's the issue I have with you. I know you're a historian. I know you go back into the 50s when you talk about athletes, but you always want to talk about guys that win. Why can't you just follow suit and take the guys that they keep telling you're a great, Big C?
Well, you know, that's the thing about being a talking head, Charles, is that you can always go out and speculate. Tell everybody that's listening to your show what a team's needs are. But, you know, ironically, you've never had a GM job. You've never even put on a jock strap. So how do you know what a team's needs are, and you've never broken a sweat other than the lights in a studio?
Well, that's true. And
get some dirt on your cleats first before you say you know something about football. You just can't have them sitting on a shelf with an autograph from somebody. You got to be able to put them on your feet, go out there and walk through the grass, break a sweat doing that. But when you talk about a team's need and what a team really needs, the Los Angeles Rams need to protect Todd Gurley. They spent 5 years drafting on their defensive line, built one of the greatest defensive lines in the NFL today. Now, they're going to replicate that going to the offensive side. They need some blockers for Todd Gurley. Now, you can draft a quarterback. But if he's on his back, what good is Todd Gurley? Todd Gurley will carry the mail for you for the Los Angeles Rams for the next 7-8 years. He's just like when they had Eddie George in Houston with Jeff Fisher. And just like when they had, Eric Dickerson. This guy is a horse. He's a game changer for the Los Angeles Rams. You look how that team turned around. They have great receiving cores. Case Keenum did a wonderful job at quarterback last year. He won 6-7 games. You're not going to bring a rookie into that organization and duplicate that, Charlton.
Well, speaking of duplicating, in the last 2 minutes, this segment is also sponsored by your Northern California Ford dealers, home of the all-new F-150. You can only get it there new. And when you go down and drive it, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. Now, Big C, we've talked about the great Lakers celebration last night. Congratulations to Kobe Bryant and the Laker fans. Congratulations to Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors.
Let me cut you off.
Yes.
Let me cut you off a little bit.
Yes.
On that celebration, the only thing that was missing last night was the great Chick Hearn.
Oh, yeah.
Chick Hearn's legacy with the Lakers and Southern California basketball is second to none. And that was one of the things that was overlooked by the media last night.
Yeah.
Is that Chick Hearn was not there to be a part of that celebration. When you thought about the Lakers in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, Chick Hearn was the voice that you heard that resonated game in and game out for the Lakers, Charlton.
Yeah.
And with that great send-off to Kobe Bryant, I think a little bit of that celebration last night should have been at least a montage of the great Chick Hearn calling Laker plays with Kobe Bryant over his tenure there in Los Angeles.
Well, Big C, you know how to close out the show the way nobody else does, and I agree with you 100%. But unfortunately, we are out of time. I told you I need to trade in my Timex for that Rolex. Now, I know you guys, you good old boys down in Alabama, you use an hourglass to time your practices. You and Nick Saban hanging out. But I want to tell you, you can also hang out with us every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide on the Charlton and Big C Show. We thank you. We appreciate you for listening. Have a super fantastic day.